I rise. But who am I? See, since the day of birth I began to rise, not only mentally but physically in size. The slight development of my limbs and the blurring of my eyes made me realize how hope seems to be disguised. Now listen to the story that I began to tell, the story of how a young man made it through hell. Now I don't complain nor brag about my stomping ground, I just speak of how it's so profound. Hilltop, Burdick Street, Kalamazoo, Michigan, this is where it all began. HTB, that's what I claimed, honestly, it wasn't even a gang. A group of boys who had nowhere to go, who thought that making a name was the way to run the show. A part of this group at first, oh no, see I was the victim who took blow after blow. Literally I was beaten day by day, until one morning when it was known to all that I ain't play. See, that day was the day when I rise. No tears nor fear were possessed by my eyes. A single moment in time, a moment that changed the rest of what I'm about to rhyme. Nights were cold and the gunshots were colder, the chills that went down my back and the goosebumps on my shoulders. The night when a young woman yelled out for help, but instead she got 8 10-inch boots striking her above and below her belt. See, I was 12 years old, and the things I saw were colder than cold. Countless nights when I did not sleep, if you were to walk in my shoes, you'd cry and weep. See, no tears rolled down my eyes, and to those that do, I do not despise. I do feel pity, because tears solve nothing, but I do feel shitty because tears mean something. See, that moment in time that changed my rhyme was the moment in time when everything stopped on a dime. The respect I gained and the legend I remain to those who know my profound name. As I grew older, I made my heart made of stone. I tend to keep it bitter and cold. Now, don't get me wrong, I do have feelings too, but my feelings are bottled in a capsule, which will not be unscrewed. I rise. I rise once again above the depths of hell. I rise above the drugs, alcohol, and anything leading to jail. I rise because I know what past I left behind, the moment in time when I would take that which was not mine. The hunting. See, I was not the predator, but I was the prey. I ran through an entire neighborhood one day. When I was caught, I struck the officer slightly in the face, almost as if to make a statement that he was in the wrong place. I reminisce on the days that I lived a life of crime, the days that I recall time after time. Theft is what I did and pity is what I felt, not for the victims, but for myself. Even though I knew I couldn't afford, it seemed so irrelevant to what was in store. The tears that rolled down my mother's face hit that soft spot that seemed to be misplaced. I remember the tears from my mother's eyes and the countless nights when I heard her cries. I rise. I rise above the pain and sorrow. I look ahead at what will be brought by tomorrow. I gain sight to what is right. I gave it my all to football every day and every night. Through the pain I would fight just to see the glistening stars under the spotlights. I ate, drank, and breathed football every moment after the last bell rang. And I remember quite well what we would all sing. Fight songs and battle cries. The tears that rolled down some people's eyes. The painful feeling of defeat after giving it our all with blisters on our feet. Defeated we were not, but united we did try. Back to the field which we loved and hate. To find ourselves losing at almost every rate. I rise once more from the underprivileged hood I once knew. I moved to a neighborhood that was slightly too much for me to chew. No one to talk to and no one to see. It seemed as if the entire neighborhood was abandoned and alone stood me. I hated this neighborhood and yet I still do, because it seems to not exist to the people I once knew. Now the area was not familiar to me, for it contained less of what I was used to see. No gunshots, no fights, no kids running under streetlights, just silence throughout the nights. Something just didn't feel right. White. White was the hue that the neighborhood possessed. Every street corner, every house, every face, and every fence. I do not complain, yet I dislike. I felt very different in this new light. Yet I rise, again and again. I rise to like the place in which I didn't fit in. I rise because I stood alone to a video game that may not be known. Halo 3 Master Chief were all I knew. I became known worldwide by many and few. See, I am talented at this game because I sat and played due to my complaint. Yet I still remain. I fell not to the opportunity of fame. I rise. I rise for my family. Family is very important to me. Just take a glance at my family tree. Now, as my guy Boom would say, no apples on my family tree, just battles near the ground and beneath. Family matters and family troubles. These are common for my family, make it a double. Fights at night and smiles by day, we seem to wear a mask to replace the dismay. Though we tend to disagree and stray away, we're by each other's side day by day. Segregated within and united to others, we stand for our family, especially our mothers. Now I rise from my high school. LNHS, the colors that I will always rap. Navy blue and white were my choice of attire for 4 years until the day that I retired. Now school spirit cannot be replaced, especially by a class that continuously won first place. I rise again for the class of 2010, and I wear a ring on my finger to never forget that I'm with the golden class that I'll never regret. I rise to the well-known Michigan State, and to be quite honest, there is too much on my plate. At any rate, I made no mistake. I rise. But who am I?